NBC's Julie Tsirkin spoke with both of the candidates ahead of tonight's big showdown, and she joins me from Phoenix. So, Julie, great job talking to the candidates. What were your key takeaways from your conversation with Kari Lake?
Kristen, how much time do we have? Because there was so much that stood out for me in our interview that lasted about 18 minutes. You know, she began talking about the kind of vision she wants for Arizona, what kind of senator she would be, how she feels good going into her debate. She often brought up her internal polling, which she told me was, quote, the real deal, the real scoop on the race that showed her actually leading Gallego, her opponent, and even performing at the same level that Trump is performing in this state, which we know is just not accurate when it comes to all of the public polling we've seen. There was a notable shift in her demeanor, Kristen, when I started pressing her on that, when I started asking her about her election denialism, whether she would vote to certify the election on January 6th if she was a senator. She called me honey. She asked for my name again, even though I have interviewed her before. She abruptly then ended the interview right after this moment. Watch.
Would you vote to codify the election no matter what happens?
Can you imagine asking a soccer player or a football player, will you agree,
but this
right?
is our democratic process and our elections that have been secured.
Julie, would you like me to answer the question?
I would, but you just
Or do you want to argue with me?
No, I'm not looking to argue with you. I just want a clear answer for Arizonans once and for all, because integrity is a big issue here.
If you were playing a soccer game and they said to the soccer team, before this election, will you agree with every single call the ref makes and agree with everything that happens in this game? Nobody would say yes. We want to have a lawfully run election.
And this isn't a soccer game.
When we get if we have a lawfully run election, absolutely, absolutely. There's nothing more I'd rather do if we have a lawfully run election.
If we have a lawfully run election, I got to tell you, Kristen, that is sticking. I spoke to a lot of voters who are going into this early voting site behind me in Maricopa County, a swing county. Some of them, Trump voters, said they are coming out on the first day of early voting because they believe there are problems in the election, despite none of that being found in 2020 or 2022.
Julie, what a remarkable exchange there with the Senate candidate. Let me ask you, of course, you were able to interview Ruben Gallego as well. What was his message to you, and what were your key takeaways from him heading into tonight's big debate?
Well, this is somebody who is really trying to distance himself, Kristen, from his progressive record as a House member. He was part of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. He called himself a proud progressive up until he really got into the meat of his campaign here against Kari Lake. So he's trying to pull those voters in that she might be alienating. Take a listen to when I pressed him on this.
Well, I think number one, that's a very D.C. perspective. My focus is always delivering for Arizona, and I've done it in a bipartisan manner, and we'll continue to do it.
So you don't think that you've moved to the center on your record?
No, I think we're focusing, again, on talking about where Arizona should go, and we're highlighting things that we've done in the past to make sure that people understand we're fighting for Arizona.
He also stressed that he's running his race independently of Kamala Harris, who is neck and neck with Trump or trailing him in some cases. So just really interesting dynamics all around, Kristen.
Fantastic interviews. Great job, Julie Tsirkin. As always, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.